Alrighty. It's not working. I don't think I unplugged it. Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Mini Paint and Chill by the one and only me, Wheeler's Minis. The great stream where I mini paint and you chill. We're gonna get some work done on the Warhammer model that I did last week, and then move on from there. See what we get to with that, and then yeah, see what's gonna happen. But before I do that, a few quick things to get out of the way. One, if you aren't already following the channel, please do. If you have the financial ability to, please consider subscribing. Don't forget that if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe once for free each month with your Twitch Prime subscription. I would love it if that was me. If you'd like to financially support me in other ways, you can buy something off my website, wheelersminis.com. Follow me on all my socials, at wheelersminis on pretty much everything. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi YouTube. Thanks for hanging out and watching this and maybe putting it on in the background as you are doing other things, since I tend to be quiet and talk a lot sometimes, which sounds antithetical to each other, but I promise you it's not. I somehow make it work, those two things juxtaposed together. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this right now, if you could head over to the YouTube channel and subscribe there, it's free to do. It would help me. I'm at 81 subscribers right now. I'm trying to hit 100. I'm trying to grow as best as I can. So I'll be making more content that's just like actual content. Brighten this up a little bit. But yeah. So looking forward to it. I actually moved it up. It feels like I've got so much more space now. Jeez. Yeah. But like I said, if you could subscribe on the YouTube channel, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate it. And I think that's it. So we're going to go ahead and get started, or I guess reacclimated with this model. I really wish I could move that just a little bit. We'll just get it out just a little bit. You can see a little bit more. So I'm doing it based off of the box art. I think I've been doing a pretty good job so far. Basilisk red for the base. Gray, the deep grays or the grays and blacks for the leather of like the boots and stuff. And I think I just did Brigandine brown for the leather pieces. But we got him a wash. I gave him a little bit of a speed paint on his torch. But yeah. So we're just going to start getting into kind of the fun parts of bringing up highlights and things like that. I've been using a lot of this cool red tone family recently, and I've really been enjoying it. So first and foremost, let's get the brush I want to use. I think I'm going to go with this size 0. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with the size 2. I'm going to do my miniature maestro brush. And then get some Wyvern Fury on the palette, which I think I already have some there. Should probably clean off the palette soon. I think this is Wyvern Fury, yeah. I was just using it yesterday because I finished painting the character model that I made last week. And the video for the paint job for that should be coming out on Friday. And he's got ironically, a lot of similar colors on him in regards to the reds and things. Like I said, I've been really enjoying this red family recently. This is the Army Painter cool red family. I think it's pretty cool if you ask me. Hardy har har. But I've just really been enjoying using these cool tones. And once we get up one more level, you'll start the cool tones will start to kind of bleed a little bit into warmer tones because red already tends to be a very warm tone. What I'm doing here is just finding the spots where the highlights hit and kind of hitting those lightly with this. I think one of the things that I've got to start getting better at is not being as sheepish with highlights as I place them. I tend to overcorrect when I hear the phrase, you know, put it on less of the layer than you did before, when in reality it needs more than I think it does in order to get the desired effect. And then if I want to and I need to, I can always come back and glaze over the original color to kind of help bring back some of that deeper tone. But I think for now, this guy is gonna look good like this. And I think that's the thing. As long as you are painting less than you were before, I don't think you're doing anything wrong with highlighting, because that is what highlights are. I just tend to, I think, take highlighting a little to the extreme in the sense that I go, oh, highlighting, so I just have to edge everything. And that's not the case. Rarely, I would say. I won't just do a blanket. That's not the case ever, because sometimes that is. But just going over and making sure that it's got color where it needs to and looks good, I think, is your main goal when you're painting. Also, this paint specifically is Wyvern Fury. It's the second in the Cool Red family. Right above Basilisk Red. And again, if you do paint less up front, you'll have more contrast in it, but that isn't always necessarily what you want to do. So you just want to gauge where you're at with what you're painting and how you want it to look. Because if you want that contrast, by all means, paint less than what I'm painting in regards to where the color is going. But if you're looking for less contrast and more of a cohesive piece, you're definitely going to want to do wider swaths with the colors that you're doing, but not so much that it detracts from any previous work that you did. And it takes time. I mean, I've been painting for like 5 years now, and I'm still learning things. So, you know, don't beat yourself up if you're not getting it right away, because it's important to continue going to get better. You know, you only get better when you put the effort in to work and actually put forth a conscious effort to do those things. So. But I think that looks pretty good. Forward a little bit, so I just want to see where color might be showing that I'm missing. For instance, just like right here, a little triangle. So before I continue, humidifier, because it is always way too dry where I am and where I'm painting. Okay, so that's the red. Actually, just to be safe, do a little bit more. There we go. So a better look. All right, and now I guess we can start moving up the grays. What I might do though, just to have a little fun with it, is I'm gonna put a little bit of purple on there too, because blacks, when rarely when something is just black, is it actually just black? In fact, if you watch Monument Hobbies streams, Jason, who I believe is the founder, CEO, at least the lead person who's been doing the streams recently, literally said, yeah, the reason why we like black things is because there's other colors in there that we don't necessarily see that add to the texture and like make the black pop. So having just like one brush full of that and then like half a brush full of purple and just kind of getting into a nice little like desaturated gray purple color when I go over with the transparent black, is I think it's going to look really cool, which is what I'm going to do. So when I'm done painting this these gloves and the boots and things, I'll be going over that with a transparent black from Pro Acryl to kind of bring it back down, but the highlights will still show. And that's kind of what I am hoping for, is that once I get the highlights on, it'll show really nicely with the black on top of it and still look black. And that's the fun sometimes of transparents, is that when you look at them, they just look like the color they are, but if you put them over an already highlighted piece of your model, they tend to catch that really well. And show it off in a way that really lends itself to the lighting. And the transparents are basically just a glaze. That is full. I should have emptied it out beforehand, but that's okay. So you can do the same thing that I'm talking about with just like a glaze. That is actually a little too purple. It's pretty close. I'm just choosing it to do it with the transparent black that I have because it's already the consistency that I need. And I tend to paint with a very top-down highlight most of the time. It's the easiest one to maintain, but I've started to get into the idea of painting more with a lighting from a specific angle. I just gotta get better at it. Now I'm just going back and seeing some of the red cloth that I missed that I think would be still hit by the light. So that way it has the proper highlight on it. All right. Do a little bit of this with the purple. That's way too purpley. I need more gray. Just a hint of that purple. Perfect. There we go. And I'm just moving up this right now because it's going to be what's easiest for me, at least. Because there's not much going around them, I'd rather do them now just in case I mess something up later. And it just means that I have less to do later. We should be able to finish him up today, I think. I'll let you know in about an hour when we have about 45 minutes or so left and see if I am at a point where I think I can finish him. Great way to see where the light's going to is honestly to just look at the model itself under light and see where it kind of catches the light the most from the paint. And that'll give you a really good idea as to where the highlight should be. So now let's do the browns. So this is Bootstrap Brown, second in the brown family, because again, I'm pretty sure that I used Brigadine. I have horrible memory, so honestly I don't remember. But pretty sure I did. And this is going to be our highlight on the leather pieces. Our first highlight on the leather pieces. Need to actually right now I'm just going to take a quick break. I need to empty out my brush rinser because it is very full. So I will be right back. All right. Sorry, it was getting full, which means it doesn't really properly rinse out in the cup, which is not good. Also means I'm not getting good a good consistency in the paint. Browns are some of my favorite colors to work with because I use them the most. But also just because I think they look real cool. Yes, I use them for almost everything. I will say, having painted the character model that I painted last week, I have oodles more respect for a lot of painters who have really good brush control, because my goodness, is it hard to paint small things at times. But we do the best we can and hope for the best, and usually ends up working in our favor. That's just painting in general. I am not one of those people who has crazy brush control. I'm still learning that technique. Slowly but surely. Maybe one day I'll have it. Still just doing the preliminary highlights on these. The fun thing with leather too, when you're working with it, is it tends to have good texture on it, so it lends itself to being brushed on in a way that kind of helps accentuate that texture. So don't feel like you have to have it completely covered, especially as you start to build it up with your layers. You know, leather very rarely is just one blanket color. Having it be somewhat different in areas is beneficial. Giving it that texture really helps overall give you the idea that it's in a world. I believe that's all the leather bits. I think that, yeah, the sheath is also that black color that we're going to do. We're going to take that gray. Since we're going to be coming over it with a transparent black later. Going to take some of that gray tone. That's a little lighter. Save that for the top here. Alright. Just get a little bit of it on. There we go. Alright. Now we can start working on this is also in the brown family. This is Commander Khaki or Command Khaki. And then I think I did, I don't know if it was Dusty Skull or not. Guess I can do a little test. Maybe it was. Real quick, I made it just a little bit different than the color that we started with on the cloak, because that one I know I did paratrooper tan. I think that's what it's called. So the next one in that family would be this command khaki. It's gonna go. Start moving that color up a little bit. That's that color. Let's see what else we have. The leather bits. I guess the skin is next. Which I think we started with barbarian flesh for him. And we'll move up from there because he is pretty pale. I think I hit it with a flesh wash. I'm just going through and kind of reapplying this in spaces to help bring the color back, but not too much as to detract from the wash that we put on him. It isn't helping that he's not, the skin tone is just not thinning down very well right now. Okay. And then the next one up would be Tomb Can for the top of the bedroll. Goodness. That's what I mean to. Just for the topmost parts. Again, that are just catching the light. wish I still had my thing. That's fine. I'll just use old titanium. So I'm still going to do what I discussed last time too with this hair. I'm just going to put a gray, a dark, oh, yeah, a dark-ish gray. Honestly, probably a mix between these two. I guess I can do that now. Take that. Maybe even a little darker. Sweet. Okay, now what? I guess the metallic bits are the next part to get highlighted. Time for a brush change. This is plate armor. I don't remember if I started with this one or not. But regardless, this is where I'll go next. Ooh, definitely don't need that much, but oh well. So just getting some on the metallics to really help kind of brighten them up a little bit is just going to help overall. So I'm using True Brass as a highlight for the belt buckle and the buttons on him, as well as some of the other small parts. But I also hit some of them up with tainted gold to really give them a good look. And then I'll do a final highlight of like shining silver. On the metal bits that aren't like steel or anything like that. All right, now we can keep moving up. Let's see. There's a little bit more. The middle bit, so now we can move up in the red, which the next in the cool reds is Dragon Red. And this is where it starts to get a little warm comparatively to the cools. At least from what I've noticed. Even though there is a warm red family, it still feels a lot warmer. So I might mix some Wyvern Fury in there just to get it cooled down a little bit, but we'll see. To our other brush, water. Yeah, it's very, very bright. I guess it is technically still cool. This feels very warm. Oh, it's getting there. Kind of fooled a little weird in the maybe it isn't. Some of the wash just pulled really badly down here, so I'm just kind of putting the base color back, kind of fix it a little bit. Up here. This is where I start to get a little bit more selective about where the highlights are going. Just to make sure. They're doing what I want them to. Again, it really just depends on how much contrast you want when you're painting, to how large your layers are when it comes to adding highlights. Got good texture to it too. I just like the way that this is turning out. Again, the fact that it's my first ever Warhammer model, not lost on me. I'm doing it based off the box art, as I've said before, but I still like it, even if it is just box art reincarnate, at least to the best of my ability. Okay. I think that's the red done. So that's a couple of things. All right. Got that red. All right, Korean khaki. Now we go to urban buff. That's the highest in the browns. And then for the next highlight in the leather, I'll mix leather brown with bootstrap brown, because the leather tends to be a little too yellow toned for me. Right now I'm just kind of softening the edges between the layers of highlights by adding a little bit of the previous layer into that kind of middle ground, so it shows off just a little better and doesn't look like a clean line, which I would do with this, but I tend to paint in a way with these that just kind of lends itself to being painted like that. Plus that's kind of what I guess there's some variation. I don't know, I'll figure it out. I even might go up one more in the cold family for reds for the cloak itself, and for the high highlights. Because I don't tend to go above level 3 with a lot of things, and that can really limit you in what you paint. So now we're going to go towards leather. A brush full of leather brown. Brush full of bootstrap. Give us a good, even kind of middle ground between the two. Without going too yellow. And the benefit of doing this as well is you can then come back over with the higher tone that you added to it as a highlight, and you already have it on the palette. About 45 minutes left. I might be able to finish it today. We'll see. This is about the time when I told you I was going to say yes or no. But I honestly don't have a yes or no answer yet. guess since I have it on the palette already, I guess I'll just start doing the highest highlights on this. These are really only gonna go where the light is touching the leather the most. And it's going to be used to add some texture to the model itself. So this is the color, at least this is the color that I use for it. This is the color that you'll want to do like little scratches and things with on leather bits to show their wear and tear. Because then it just ends up looking really cool. I forgot to do the top bits of the... Sweet. Oh, it's looking pretty good. Okay. Next up, I'll leave a skeleton bone. And this is going as the top highlight for the bedroll that he has. What I'm gonna do is take just add some light recess shading so that you can tell that it's a bedroll and it's got that kind of shade on it. Let's see. What to do. Guess we can start working on the skin. All right, so put some on the hair without looking anything else up. Beautiful. A little bit more grizzled than he is in the picture, but it's all right. All right, and then next up is what is it? Ruby? Yeah, Ruby. Okay. So Ruby skin tone is our next in line. This over here because it's just not thinning out. Looking pretty good. All right. This is skeleton bone. I hope it is. All right, so that's done. Now we just need to start doing up some final little details. This again. Okay. Don't remember what tone I used for the little insignia he's got on. I think it was this. Which I don't. Well, if it wasn't this, it is now. I might just hit it with a wash to kind of darken it back up. All right. Now we can start doing a little bit of the... So shining silver is our next one up. That is what I was hoping would not happen, but that's okay. Just soak a bunch of that up real quick. There we go. Right. So this is our highlight of metal. And then if you really want to add an extra layer, you can do either just pure white, or I'm going to try doing just a little bit of silver mixed with white. Give me like a nice little like specular highlight. The highest point. Just kidding. Didn't look as good as I hoped it did. All right, and that's that. And then maybe a little bit of, how about this one? To get a bit of a brighter brass. Okay. It's always best to do any buttons and stuff last, just in case. You want to make sure you're not messing anything up. Also, just completely. Well, that I did. Brass. I have to go back to that. Just missed the belt buckle. Okay. I think he's mostly good. A few more finishing touches on him, and he should be fine. And we have about 23 minutes left, so I should be able to finish him today. Maybe. So cool red next up is pure red, which is clogged. No, this is just edge highlighting. Looks good. I can get a little darker. There we go, it's a little better. All right. Goodness, what do we have left? Not much. Foremost, get some transparent black on here. This toothbrush is getting a little rowdy. So this is basically going to be a glaze. It's pretty diluted already. Just going to dilute it a little bit more just to make sure that it doesn't do too much. I definitely want it to turn it mostly black. My only fear with the transparent black was that the colors weren't gonna go through very well, but I think they're doing all right. Officially out of water. Technically my own fault, though. Use some drinking water. Even though we only have like 5 minutes left, but who knows, that 5 minutes I might be able to do quite a bit. Kind of going back in. The transparent black kind of took a lot of the color out of it. So just want to make sure that color, that kind of highlight color is still in there. It's somewhat present, but I just wanted to make it a little bit more pronounced. All right, and then get some Irico. Got about 3 minutes left. We will just about finish him, but I'll probably have to finish him fully off stream so we can get the stuff I want to get done on him done. Probably the last bit we'll do today is All right, so we hit ruby skin, which means next up is not pearl, but opal. Okay, maybe. A little bit there. And then on Thursday, I'll either paint his companion in this set or go with something different. We'll come up with a plan for that later. All right, that looks fine. Thought I mussed it up, but honestly, I think I did okay. All right, it's 5:01. The last thing that I will do, very gingerly. Give him some whites of his eyes. All right. Maybe I will save him for Thursday because I still got to do the fire and stuff. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But honestly, I'm very proud of the work that I got done today. He looks really, really good. And cool. Just like the way that he looks. So that's going to do it for me today. I'll be back again on Thursday with some more mini painting goodness. But until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, a good Wednesday, and I will see you all on Thursday for some more mini painting goodness. I might finish this guy on stream. I don't know. But even still, we'll work on his counterpart probably on Thursday as well. So thank you so much for joining. Like I said, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will see you all on Thursday. Yeah. No ending spiel. That's it. Later, guys.